How's it going? In case you don't know, we're on a channel here on YouTube that focuses mainly on old style traditional martial arts and conditioning training. I try and do these live streams to catch up with everyone and spread some training, so you can follow a lot of the videos on my channel. I hope everyone's doing all right out there. Sorry I've been a bit scarce, but I'll go on as I go on. But I've just been so busy. And that's part of, I guess, training these days in the modern age, is like how busy everyone is with work and everything like that, to try and do these sort of iron body training stuff. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so you guys, if you follow the channel, you've probably seen this setup before. So I wanted to show it to people again and have a little show of it. So basically, the idea with this is, if it's a setup that you can use if you're in an apartment, a flat, something like that. You don't have a lot of space, or you can go outside on a tree. I know there's been a lot of lockdowns and stuff, so this is a good setup that you can use for training your iron body conditioning, your iron palm, and general strike. So I'll get onto it now. So basically, what we got here is we've got black rocks. Okay, so this bag you guys probably seen featured in my channel over the years. So we've got like black rocks, pebbles, like water washed pebbles. So they can be a bit jagged, but generally they're smooth. Yeah, and the black rocks are important because it's the density of them. Yeah, they're not slate or anything like that. They're like a black, I don't know what it is, like a black granite or something. Yeah, so they're in there, and you can hear them. Yeah, and then you can hear the rattle of them there. That's the sound. Each one's about this big. So that's important for the bag. This bag's just homemade out of a pair of jeans. Yeah, I just cut the legs off a pair of jeans, 2 legs, one for the inner bag, one for the outer bag, and you can see there's just a cheap ass knot here, and you can see there's a cheap ass knot up the top, and the jeans have actually still got the studs and shit in them. Yeah, doorway here. So the idea with this is, we've got to, especially in this day and age, but also with the skills that we're trying to train, you've got to have this ethos of constant training. Yeah, so the idea with this is that you put it on one of these pull-up bars that I've got up here. If you have a look just a bit further up, there's one of those pull-up bars. So you chuck it on one of them pull-up bars, or wherever, anywhere where it can just hang. And then you're going to do your various strikes on it. So for anyone who's just joined, you got rock, you got black, hard, dense rocks. I think they're like a granite or something like that, but it's the black kind of stone rocks for the density. Yeah, and you probably would have seen this bag before. And then you're going to hang it just somewhere where it's easily accessible. So mine's in my training room. And then every time I'm coming in and out or walking around, or if I'm getting ready in the morning, I might come up to the bag, yeah, and I'll just start dropping some elbows. Now this is with the muscle bit and the bone. So I'll start dropping some elbows into it. And again, because we're going to do this regularly, you don't have to go crazy. You can hear the rocks. Yeah, you just relax. You don't make any, you're not trying to make it martial artsy. That's the thing of this training. It goes on and on and on. And you're not trying to make it martial artsy and be like, oh, and do a stance or whatever. You just relax. You're walking up to the bag and you're just letting your arm drop into it. Yeah, just nothing crazy. Just letting your arm drop into it. Yeah, and of course we've got this small work area, which is also kind of part of the training. It's just delivering the shock. Yeah, and trust me, with these kind of rocks in here, it's hard. It's actually one of the more harder trainings, because these rocks are mean. Although they're like, each one's like a big pebble. They sometimes go on their edge, and one will dig into your arm. You know, so it's just one you have to work at very gradually. I wouldn't say it's like a beginner level, but anyone can do it. Anyone can try it. You'll see how your body reacts to it. Yeah. So first off, you just drop your arms into there. Yeah. And that's it. So as your day goes on, hello sir from Turkey, how you doing? As your day goes on, you're just dropping your arms in there, and that's it. You go back and forward, you go out your room, you're doing your stuff, or you can do a little training session with it, but just as you come by, you're just dropping your arms into it. It's always there. Yeah. And like I said, you walk into it, boom. Yeah. Now what this is trying to, I mean, that wouldn't be ideal. Oh, got a thumbs up, thank you. What this is trying to train is, I don't know if you've ever caught a kick a bit late, or you've caught one early, or someone's hit you with a weapon or something, and you've nearly caught it, but it's, maybe you've caught it slightly wrong. You get that jarring, you get that jar into your arm, into your bone, through the muscle. I mean, once I remember I was sparring someone and they kicked me with a shin, and I did like an old style, just freaking low block with my arm, and I remember their shin just ate through the muscle in my arm. It hit the bone. I felt it like shock up my arm, and I was like, oh, I don't want to take another one of those. And then the guy looked at me, and I was like, shit, I hope he doesn't kick again. He put his foot down and then he fell over. So that was good, because I was like, shit, I couldn't take another one of those. But it turned out that he hurt his shin on my forearm. So that's good. Although it hurt my arm, it hurt his shin, and the shin bone is a lot more stronger than the forearm bone. So that's from this kind of training, and like other kinds of training from the 72 secret arts, like the striking at a pile, or striking a tree. So this is different to iron bone, although it's similar at the moment, where you're just dropping your arms into the rocks. Yeah, and you can hear the rocks. Yeah. And the rocks will jar against your bone, but it's through the muscle. Yeah, the jar. Yeah. And again, like I said, you just relax. You walk into it, and you're just putting the forearm muscle, hitting it all in all the surfaces. Yeah, and part of it is, we don't have a lot of space, so you can hang this on a tree or whatever, but mine's purposely inside here, where there's not a lot of space to move, it's for that purposeful reason. Yeah, that I can use it a lot, in the day. As I'm passing, I can come through, have some hits. So you build up like hundreds of hits a day, but without going crazy. It's not a like a 1 hour solid training session. It's just lots of hits a day, but you can still do a training session if you want. And if you can't see the whole bag there, if I tilt this camera down a bit, if I can, oops, it's just in a shelf. This is how like crappy the setup is. That's what I mean. You don't need anything fancy. Pull up one of those door pull-up bars that hangs over the door. This is just hanging on an old belt. Yeah. And if I bring this down here, you'll see how cheapo it is. Yeah. So it's, for weight wise, and this is another thing that's important, it's dense. This is as dense as it can get without it being metal. Yeah, it's about as long as a torso. It's about half as wide as a torso. So it's a very good replica for a kicking limb or a hitting limb that would strike your arm or whatever. And again, like I'm saying, you just drop the muscle of your arms into it. Yeah, throughout the day. Yeah, so this is hanging here always. I come in, I do my crap. I'm here, like I don't literally crap, but I do the shit that I'm gonna do. And then I'll just sort of stand here. It's in the cupboard. I might be looking at some clothes that I want to wear. And I'll just be like, what should I wear? Yeah. Okay, so that's sort of phase one, and also the inside muscle. Okay, so you strike. Yeah. Yeah. But we don't have a lot of room to work, but that's on purpose. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's sort of phase one. So I'll put it up there. All right. So what are the points of this bag? The purpose. Hold on, put that down. The purpose is to be as dense as possible. Yeah, that's the purpose for the size of it. Yeah, and again, that density, the rocks sort of press into the muscle, you know, and they sort of get conditioning there. But the overall density and weight and force of the rocks in the bag, you know, this 10, 15 kilo bag in this kind of density, that's what it's meant to do. It's just meant to jar the bones inside the arm. And like I said, you're just letting it strike. Nothing crazy. Just building up that conditioning. All right. So once you've got that on the go, obviously it's up to you how you train. You can chuck a few other things in there. So you can do your palms. Anyone who's seen this channel over the years will have seen this bag. So you can do your palms again, yeah, double. But again, look, be careful because, I mean, you'll see it if you try it. Because it's the rocks and they're large and they stick out. In the 72 Secret Arts of Shaolin, usually once you start training on like rough rock bags, it's considered, you know, starting to get a little bit more of advanced. It's always like dense. It's always like less dense stuff, more dense stuff, then sort of jagged and spiky stuff. Well, not jagged, but you know, like I said, look at the rocks. You can see them all digging out there. Yeah. And that's kind of the difference between like knuckles that might dig into your arm or shin bones that'll go in, and that's getting you used to that. And you know, that's all that stuff. But yeah, like I said, relaxed arms into the bag. Yeah. And just fling it away. And don't try and be super martial arty or anything. Okay. Then we're gonna do now we're going to do with the bones as well. And again, like I said, this confined space is, for me, for the way this bag's set up, is part of the training. So it's like small, powerful movements in a confined space, controlled, you know, so you're not, what's the word? You're not giving away your movements, just small, confined movements. But equally, you can hang this up on your tree. Yeah, and this is now, so we've been doing the muscle, and this is now the bone. Yep. So you spread, yeah. Spread. And again, because of the density of this bag and the size of the rocks that are in it, that's the purpose of it. Big rocks like this. You don't have to strike it like this, and in fact you have to be careful. It's more of a pressing item, yeah. Because obviously we do our iron bone training with all the other tools and iron palm bags, but when you've got rocks that are jagged, you wanna be careful with your training. You don't want to bruise the bones. You can always hit them in the wrong place. So just be careful. That's what I mean. So if you're going to use this bag, it's very convenient, but don't go crazy on it. Well, leave it up to your own training. But like or I'm not going to say it's too much, but you'll see. Give it a try if you want to bring it into your training. You can hear how dense the rocks are, but you will not be going crazy on this because you'll just end up with like bruises and smashes from the rocks. Yeah, and that's not necessarily good for you. Yeah, so yeah. So we've done the pressing with the forearm bone, with the forearm muscle. We're just striking it away, yeah, pressing it. Then you can press away with the bones on the inside, the outside. Yeah. Yeah. and also the striking with the palms, yeah? Strike, strike, yep, strike, striking with the flat palm. And this is the sort of thing that I use this bag for. They're just short, sharp shots of power in a close confine, and you know, purposely trying not to damage my door or something like that. Trying to remember not to go too hard on the bag. Now, you know, to many people this might just look silly, and hey, it's not freaking battling in the UFC. But if you're at home, you're doing your martial arts, whatever martial art you do, you know, this you can bring this into your training. And although it doesn't look much, obviously this bag weighs, you can see, this bag weighs more than 10 kilos. I'd say it weighs about 15 kilos or more for the size and space that it takes up. It's very dense. And that's the point. And that's the point of the door frame, although you don't need the door frame. Thanks for the thumbs up there. This is like a small confined kind of training, yeah. And again, like I said at the beginning, it's a training you just do all the time. You know, you do this is up here all the time in my room, and as I come in and out, I'll do that, yeah. Pushing, pressing, striking, gripping, yeah, gripping with the grip like this, and also just a normal grip, gripping like so, hit, grip, gripping and pressing, yeah, if you see it here, gripping and pressing, yeah, and then of course a bit of striking with the palms, a bit of flat palm striking. And the cool thing about this bag is even someone who's been conditioning for years, this bag is unforgiving, yeah, no matter who you are. And that's why you mustn't go crazy on it, but it's all short stuff, yeah, like that's like a kick coming back at you, boom, and you stopping it, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what does this show you? Well, it shows you that you can train your kung fu, you can train your martial arts, you can train your conditioning, you can train it wherever the hell you want. You know, lots of people, and myself, well, never myself really, but sometimes you get beaten down by the whole, oh, well, I live in an apartment, like my brother lives in an apartment, you know, I live in a flat, I live in whatever. But this room that I'm in here is a 1 meter by like 1 meter, maybe 2. It's not even a square. It's like 1 meter that way behind me. There's a cupboard here, and there's like maybe not even a meter. It's a little cupboard. Look, I'll show you. This is a cupboard, basically. Yeah. So that's what I mean, is that everyone says about, you know, we don't have space to train, but this setup is literally inside a cupboard, yeah? And there's the pull-up bar. It's not even one that screws in. It's just one that hooks over the door, the frame. And then this is the bag. And then, of course, it's useful for you because I don't know. I remember I was talking to Dave Leduc, who's one of the current Lethway bare knuckle champion fighters, and he said his I mean, this is quite a known thing in sort of kung fu, but he said his instructor, his old kung fu instructor, Jeet Kune Do, I think it was Jeet Kune Do, yeah, used to, you know, have this like box that you got in, like it was like a prefab structure you get in the top, and it was like this big, and then you'd practice striking the pads in there and hitting stuff and whatever. And this is the same sort of premise. Yeah, you've got a little bit of space. Maybe it's out of necessity, maybe it's out of whatever. Maybe it's because all you have, or maybe it's because you want to try it. So this is the sort of thing that works great, because, you know, this bag, it's not going anywhere quickly, and you can just practice. And it, you know, you don't have to be Bruce Lee or Jet Li or know loads of moves. Maybe you don't even know like that much kung fu or whatever at all. But you can get the premise of how this works to sort of toughen you up. Obviously, you really do need to know like some kung fu or martial arts or whatever. But you can see how it toughens you up. You know, you're striking with the palms onto the rocks, but the rocks are giving. Yeah. You're striking with the blades of the hands, yeah, the flats of the palms, the sides of the bones here, yeah. But because it's full of the rocks, you're doing more pressing sort of stuff, double-handed stuff, yeah, because of the density of the bag, yeah. And then the only one you're really striking with is this muscle bit. So bones, you're like pressing and shunting both sides, inside and out. Yeah. 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 Oh, a little bit got me there. I felt it. Yeah. And then the one you're doing a bit more with is the forearm bones, where you're just walking them in. Yeah. Some of the inside muscle. Yeah. If you can fit, you can go in between the door. Strike one side, going out. Strike the other. All right. That sort of thing. Yeah, so there we go. That's the bag. Rock. Try it. Have it a go. The idea is it's very dense. It's very heavy. Rocks about this big. Black rocks. So they're the black density of these rocks. So they're pretty much as dense as you can get before you go to metal, I believe, or like very, very iron or metallic rich rock. But I don't know what kind of rock this is. It's literally like a black, I'd say granite or something. Yeah, there are specific trainings to train just on that as well. Yeah. So let's have a look. Oh, Matthew Elliman says, how long have you been training for? Oh, Matthew, well, this channel's been going for about 10 years or so. But I've been training for years. I mean, everyone who follows the channel knows. I should be better, but I've been training for, Jesus, what is it, 20 years or something. And when I say that, I don't mean, I mean training like with purpose, you know, like I've done videos about this before. But anyway, okay, so what are the benefits? What are the benefits of this for the guys who watch? Like I said before, the benefits are just close quarters, normal, natural movements, more realistic style self-defense. And it seems a bit stupid to say, oh, well, how's hitting a stupid bag of rocks in a door frame? How's that going to help me with like realistic style self-defense? Well, it is in that in real life, usually in a real situation, you've not usually got distance or much to move. Maybe you are in a corridor, maybe you're in a club, maybe you're in a bar, maybe or whatever. And just training this conditioning training in a short environment with not a lot of space is a great way to just condition the body, get the strikes like natural. If you've started and you're a little bit stylized and all your movements are big or whatever, it's getting them just short, sharp, and natural, getting them more with the movement of your body and your natural sort of like undulating or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and then blocks being little pivotal movements like this. But hey, if you train on this rock bag, if you train on this rock bag and you train in this limited space, and you train with this more just natural, shorter movement and on such a dense medium, then someone might kick or strike you or whatever, boom, and you just put your arm up, and yeah, bang, you can, like from the training with the rock bag, you can just stop it, yeah, and you can deliver force back in a short space, and it's powerful, yeah, because you're used to projecting a bit more, yeah. But yeah, there's the rock bag. So for anyone who's just joined, black rock bag. This is just made from a pair of jeans, the legs of old jeans tied at the bottom. Yeah, one leg is the inner bag, one leg is the outer bag. I've had this for years. The inner bag's full of black rocks about this big, and you buy from like the garden center, and you buy bags of them. I think they're like granite or whatever. So that's the idea. You want the densest medium for the size of the bag. Yeah, it's up to you how big you want to make it, but this one, as I showed before, is about the same size as a torso. If I show you here, it's about the length of a torso, and it's about half the width. Yep, and with the black rocks in there, that puts it at kind of like 10 to 15 kilos at least. Yeah, so it's just hung. You can hang it outside. You can, thanks for the thumbs up there. You can hang it outside. You can hang it wherever, but here, this is the idea. I've got it hung just in a little room, a little cupboard in the doorway on a pull-up bar. And the idea is, like I was saying before, is every day, when you're just walking in and out of the room or whatever, you're just delivering relaxed forearm strikes into it, yeah, as you walk. Do you see what I mean? As you walk, boom, yeah, and you let it fly back and hit the arm, yeah, the muscle bit, and you obviously you also do on the inside, same idea, yeah. I usually do it this. I'm trying not to damage my door, so I don't get to go crazy, because it's a rental. Yeah. And then the idea of it is that the shock of the density of the bag goes in to the arm, yeah, into the muscle, strengthens it. And also the nodules of stone are difficult. Yeah, so you won't be slamming any huge forearms into this bag, no. But that's the idea, it's just a small movement, yeah. Then you also train the bones, so you're going to have to be very careful. You don't need me to tell you if you've tried before, because it's very, you're going to have to be careful because the rocks are very tough on the bones, yeah? You train the bones. And press it, yeah, and let it strike, yeah? And then the meat of the arm, strike. Ow, I flicked the door frame by mistake. Yeah, and this is a good, oh, thanks, got some thumbs up there. This is a good analog for someone kicking your arm or something hitting your arm because of the density of this bag. Like I said, it weighs full of granite rocks, black ones. You know, it weighs like 15 kilos at least, 10 to 15 kilos. So it's probably the best analog you'll get for like someone's leg or something like that coming in. And then these rocks are almost as if like the bone is, the sharp end of the bone is hitting sometimes, but the rocks are rounded. Jesus, all that training, and the most sore thing was flicking the end of this bloody wooden door frame. I don't want to do that again. Yeah, so like I said, every day or whenever you want, you're delivering your forearm strikes. Yeah, getting this muscle bit here used to taking the impact, and then the inside as well. Yeah. And then, like I said, in between that, yeah, you're throwing your other strikes. Now, you guys might be like, oh, why would you do this? Yeah, but that's quite a nasty strike to the kidney. Yeah, and again, you're doing it in confined space. Yeah, that's part of the training here as well. Is that you're doing it in confined space. Yeah. So yeah, it might seem silly and doesn't make you Batman, but in fact, you might feel like that freaking, you know, that guy, that Russian guy who does all the twizzling and jumping around. But there are some thumbs up coming there, so hopefully people who do know conditioning or do know a little bit more about it can see the benefit, yeah, of the short projection power, but yet the dense striking that's going on. Yep. And the gripping, and then normal striking, whatever you want to do, just do it relaxed, yeah. And then the short, that's like a strike. Yeah, so shunt with the shoulder. And you've seen on the old Conor McGregor fight how good those shoulder shunts are. Shunt with the shoulder, inner arm as well, becomes a striking surface. Yeah, and strike kidney. Yeah. You get someone with one of those, you're grappling someone or something like that, you'll clinch someone, you get them, you should try that on your boxing bag. Yeah, you start getting them with these nasty bones, and then you throw like a nice, trained, horrible, goju, hard, soft strike into the back of the kidney opening there, just like that, boom. Yeah, that's nasty trained for that person. Yeah, so that's again the reason for this small space, is that you're not, it's trying to take away the martial artsness of it and trying to be all moves and do magic moves. It's just like, shit, no, I've got short space to work in. I'm going to be conditioning. I'm not trying to look good. I'm not trying to be martial artsy. I'm just letting my natural bones deflect things. Yeah, the back fists are probably about the only thing I wouldn't recommend. Yeah, but hammer fists are fine. Yeah, just because of the fucking size of the stones. Yeah, and there we go. So, oh, good, cool. We got 6 thumbs up there. That's awesome. So hopefully the channel is delivered again, and you guys see the benefit of that. Man, if it gives you anything, that horrible back strike. Because you know, iron palm and conditioning or true Budo or fighting martial arts training is usually about, you know, you can toughen up your hands and whatnot, but you usually strike, even though your hand's tough or you're trying to toughen it up, you usually strike a weak point in the body. So that's a great example there, that little sort of gem there of you know, being around someone, or whether you're underneath their guard, like, you know, whether you're underneath their arms, gripping them, or you're around the top of their arms, or you've got one arm or whatever, but that one strike into the back of the crook of the back for the kidney, yeah, that's going to cause some problem. All right, it's going to cause some pain. And yeah, okay. So as with a lot of these more sort of difficult trainings, because this is not an easy training with this rock bag, it's pretty evil on you. You know, a bit of Dr. Joe's always helpful. If you follow the link on my video, there's links to Plum Dragon Herbs and stuff who I've usually worked with for Dr. Joe. But because of all the COVID and stuff, I found a local guy, Red Chi. I think it's Paul from Red Chi. Is it Paul? I've been using his Dr. Joe now for a bit because I haven't been able to get my usual supplier. And yeah, it's good stuff. So, and it's, you know, it's Australian, supports Australia. You know, I don't have to pay as much for the postage and stuff. So yeah, get that Dr. Joe on you. I'll put some, because this is heavy training with the stones, like I said. So for anyone who's just joined in, we've been doing a bit of a strange little conditioning routine on this bag. Not a lot of space, so it's been going well. The bag here is just hanging up all the time, and it's full of like black rocks, like granite. It's very dense, it's very heavy. The idea is just to strike it in a relaxed way with the movements of your body, shunt it, push it, press it. And it's helping you to develop like your force for pressing, pushing, connection of the body force, relaxed, and also conditioning, because it's mean as hell. A bit more Dr. Joe. And I'll have a look if there's any questions on there. Now that the mainstay of the training's over, I'll probably just catch everyone up on the channel, and like, because people who watch the channel will probably watch to this far if they rewatch the video. People who don't watch the channel will obviously not watch this far, so I can do a bit of a catch up. People wondering where I am. I've been really busy with work. I've been really busy with work, doing a bit of a supervisor role as well. So training, and my little son who's coming up to 1 year old. So yeah, training's been tough, fitting it all in. I definitely think I've lost some condition, lost some strength, and lost some stuff. But you know, sometimes life, it's, you know, it's fluid. So don't be dismayed for everyone who's in a similar boat. Just try and chip away, try and do what you can. Because you know, you just got to ride that wave. Don't give up. You know, do stuff like this. You know, you can't, you know, I've actually had to give up my gym membership. I've usually always got a gym membership on the go, and I try and go to the gym like a couple of times a week at least, plus martial arts training, plus conditioning. But I've been that busy with the baby, and, you know, just helping out at home and that sort of thing of having a new baby, he's 1 now, that I've been here 6 months in this new place, about 6-7 months, and I literally had to give up the gym after like a couple of weeks. I was like, man, I'm paying this gym membership and I'm just not going to the gym. I'm getting like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there to do stuff at home. And that's again where you can always fall back on little kung fu trainings like this, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I don't do some kind of training, you know, I feel bad inside, you know, because I've done training I've done properly training since I was 14, 15 years old, you know, since I took it into my own responsibility and went, right, I'm going to train. Since that time, I've trained every day, every other day. I've never gone much time at all without training. So yeah, for me mentally, if I stop training, it feels bad. You know, but over the years, now I'm 35, I've learned that, you know, you can't always train as hard and as good as you want to train. Life kind of takes over. You move countries, you get very busy at work, you're doing a kind of work that takes up a lot of your hours. So you've got to evolve your training constantly. I mean, evolving your training is also good because it teaches your body to constantly adapt to different things. If you're just doing the same thing all the time, you get very good at that same thing, but you'll plateau. People have said, like, how do you keep consistency in your training? And I'd say the consistency in my training is just chaos. it's just a lot of chaos. You know, I do all sorts of different things. You know, I do them a lot. You know, you see it on the channel. I'm always trying to keep the body guessing, lots of different kinds of training. You know, do I have this set regimented scheme and regime? No, because I'm a shift worker. So you know, and I work like rolling shifts. So I don't even have a set time when I can do stuff, because this Tuesday might be a day shift. Next Tuesday might be an afternoon shift. The next Tuesday after that, I might have a day off. I might work 9 days in a row. I might work 10 days in a row and not get a day off, and then get 1 day off, which is from a night shift, 1 day off, including that morning, and then I'm working the next day. So it's not even a day. I've actually been working the same day. That they're calling my day off, you know. So for, I know a lot of you guys out there contact me about the struggles of training, the struggles of building it into your life and having that routine. And hey, I feel you, especially now with this, like I said, with my 1-year-old and work being so busy. I'm getting recalled lots. Every time there's an incident, they're like, oh, we need you back at work. Yeah, the other week I must have done shit like a 60-something hour week or whatever, even more, because I worked 9 days in a row. And I'm not saying, oh, I work so much, but I'm just saying I worked 9 days in a row. The first day was a double shift because we had some bushfires. So that was like an 8-hour shift, then another 8-hour shift on top of that, overtime. Then I went home, I was back in work that afternoon. Bang, 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 5 or 6 afternoons. Then there was a quick changeover where I finished at 12. I started again the next day at 10. And then there was day shifts for the rest of going to 9. And in that time, I was still recalled a couple more times. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is, don't give up on your training. I remember when I was training at the MMA club, when I was getting to go down and train loads. I remember when I was training in my jiu-jitsu dojo years ago and we get to train loads. I remember when I've been training myself, you know, training a couple of times a day. But you don't, in life, you don't always get lucky enough to be able to train that much. So the best thing you can do is take those opportunities whilst you've got them, as I'm sure you guys do. Don't be dismayed. Try not to. I'm dismayed. Try not to, but don't be dismayed when you don't have those opportunities, and just try and work with what you've got. And again, that's why I wanted to show you guys this training method with the rocks and the bag in the doorway, because it's like, if you can find time, if you can't find time to put if it interests you, of course, but if you can't find time to put a fake pull-up bar that doesn't even screw into the wall on a cupboard door with a homemade bag made out of 2 jeans legs with some rocks in bought from the hardware store or found on the beach, black granite rocks, they have to be quite dense rocks, or whatever rocks you can get hanging up on the thing. And that's what I'm saying. Even with such a cheap ass setup, you can still train your martial arts. And for what the setup is, you're getting some valuable training. Like if that was all that you did, if you were like some Chinese guy, some guy who was focused on his kung fu but didn't have a lot of space or whatever. I mean, you don't have to be Chinese, but I'm saying, cliche, if you were some, a monk who just had this thing hanging on a tree and you had all your life to just hit it and strike it and move into it, you'd still get valuable training. You're gonna strengthen your freaking arms and your hands, and if someone tries to hit you or kick you, your block is gonna be strong and powerful. Your bones are gonna be strong. Your grip's gonna be good because you're also gripping the bag, with your different grips, with the thumb grip, as if the same one you'd use on the old throat, and it's just, yeah. So this isn't so much as a method as it's like a personification of, and all the training methods are, it's a personification of like getting the best out of like a shitty situation, if you don't have a lot of space, if you don't have a lot of time. That said, if you are just, I mean, this channel's been going for 10 years or more, but if you are just a super beginner, then obviously this bag in your door frame isn't going to teach you to be freaking Bruce Lee, but it's going to toughen you up. But also it's probably a little bit mean for a super beginner to use like such a bag like this full of granite rocks. But if you are a super beginner and you did want to try something crazy, well, not crazy, but you wanted to try this, you can try it. You can put something a bit nicer in here, you know, like maybe two pairs of jeans just to fill up with sand. But you'd probably quickly find that it'll move too much and it's not heavy enough. So yeah, chuck the rocks in there. You can always wrap it in like another thing to make yourself some more padding. But if you get to the point where you're striking it and it's flying around and bashing your door frame and stuff, obviously you don't want that. You know, your house will get damaged. I'm in a rental, you know, it would get damaged. I'd get in trouble. I'd owe money. So obviously take it outside. If you're an impressionable teenager, take it outside, hang it on a tree or whatever. But for anyone else, use it in the confines of where it is, to build up that, again, that training of short space, short movement conditioning. This thing flying forward and then hitting into your forearm, boom, jarring the bone. You know, like I said, my story, I was sparring this guy some years ago, and he kicked me, and I moved wrong. So he'd done a good thing. We'd been hitting no pads or anything, well, gloves, but so we'd been moving, blah blah blah. But you know, I was done. He kicked me, and it came for my chest, came for my ribs, and I just had to put my arm down. I just had to put my arm out. It was either that or take the hit to the ribs. So I put my arm down, like sacrificed my arm in the most like traditional old school block you can ever think of. You know, it was a shit block as well because there was no like absorbing, there was no nothing. It was just an old school block right down. And this guy's shin just ate into my freaking arm. And I felt it go boom, and I felt the pain just go through my bone, and I was like, ooh, and I felt that sickness in the base of my stomach. And then I looked at him and I was like, I didn't show it, but I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh shit, I hope he doesn't kick me again. And then he looked at me, he put his foot down, and then he fell over. So that was cool. Like I said, my story before, because the shin, doing this kind of training, even though it hurt my arm, because it was a full shin kick into my arm. The shin is so dense and strong compared to the forearm bone, but it hit my arm, and it obviously jarred his shin enough that he had to give up because of the pain. And then I had pain, but it went away. It was like bad at first, and then it went away, and my arm was fine. But obviously, if I'd taken a couple of hits like that into the arm, who knows? It might have even broken my arm. Who knows? If I hadn't conditioned, it might have actually broken my arm anyway. So there we go. There's a good reason to condition, and that can happen with weapons, stuff like that. Sometimes all you've got to put up is your arm. Someone's trying to hit you with a stick or a bat, boom, your arm comes up. And maybe some training like this with the density will be the difference between broke and not broke. I'm not saying not a lot of hurt, but hurt is better, and muscles being contusion and sore is a lot better than bone breaking. Yeah, you can still fight. Yeah, you'll still be able to fight. But anyway, let's have a look if we got any comments on there. Fred Hampton says, we appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Fred. Yeah, appreciate people who've been following the channel, the Patreon subscribers. Albeit, again, I apologize that the amount of content's just dwindled, but the support is appreciated. Again, like I said, it's just because of the baby and work, and just it's been tough to even get time to train, let alone time to film. I've been having to sneak it in here and there. Like I'll get 20 minutes and I'll be doing like 20 minutes worth of training. Sneak it in here, sneak it in there. And yeah, how do I film? Because usually what I do is I'll do my training session, and then after the training session, I'll film. Unless it's a stream sometimes, but sometimes it's the same with the stream. After I've done my actual training session, I'll film again. and we'll do a training session. That way, I like it because I don't like filming a video of my actual training, because you can't train it hard enough if you're just filming, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's that. So there we go, guys. The other, for anyone still listening, and obviously it'll only be people who follow the channel, the other mainstay of training this year has been my my speed bag, which you can check out the video. I've got it there. The floor to ceiling ball that's full of sand. That's freaking awesome. That bit of kit. So that's really been the mainstay of training this year. Is the speed ball full of sand, and the same sort of thing, striking, punching, iron palm training on that. And then this thing, this rock bag full of rock, smashing that, hitting that, striking that, short, close movements, and then trying to fit in a bit of cardio and this, that, and the next thing. But like I said, been difficult with the baby. And sort of the family side of things, and work, you're busy. But there we go. So there we go, guys. It's good to see you guys again. It's good to do a little stream. Like I said, I'm cognizant in my own self that, I feel I've, because I'm not training as much, I feel that I can feel that I've lost a bit of strength. Conditioning's gone down a bit, but I've been trying to keep it up with things like this, the rock bag. But like I said before, as I was saying to you guys, part of life is just riding the wave of training. We can't always train as heavily as we've always trained at different stages in our life. But all we've got to do is try to not give up. So again, like with the guys who send in a lot of the comments about, man, I can't keep consistency, man, this keeps interrupting, man. I feel your pain. And trust me, in the 20 odd years that I've been training all this stuff, I've been in that position so many times. I mean, guys, I've moved country about 4 or 5 times. I've moved from England to Belgium, England to Belgium to Spain. England to Belgium, back to England to Spain to Australia. Within the life of this channel, even I've moved so many houses. I've sold houses. I've got married. I've got divorced. I've got married again. I've had a child. I've not had a child. It's just that's life. So don't especially if you're young or you're starting or whatever, don't be worried that things are getting in the way of your training. But you've got to try and find the time to put your training in there. Even if it's the bare minimum, or even if it's, like I said, something like this silly rock bag hanging in your doorway. Obviously if you train like BJJ, that's difficult, but there's still exercises you can do with the BJJ. Like I've got my my heavy bag on the floor here, dressed up in a gi, and even if it's just practicing, like the floor mount, and the basic like angles, the basic posts and stuff like that, like just the leg strength is great to practice. Having the bag there and doing the guard, squeezing the bag, keeping it in your legs, moving it around, mounting it on top, keeping the legs squeezed, keeping your movements tight. There's these simple training exercises you can train with like a martial mindset. They'll never be as good as going to the dojo. But sometimes you can't make it to the dojo. We all know that from the freaking COVID. So I mean, I've seen people come back to the dojo, and my brother, where he trains in Sydney, he's seen people, there's a thumbs up there, he's seen people come back to the dojo, and they're like, and it actually happened when I was still training in the MMA club in in the area where I live here, or where I did live, is that people would come back and they'd been on a break or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, what have you, everyone was like out of shape or whatever. Oh, what have you guys been doing? Oh, no, we haven't been doing anything. But then you get other people, you know, like myself, who doesn't know as much maybe as them, but practicing these little exercises all the time, which help. You know, they hit the basics is what really build the martial artist. You know, so if you've got someone who knows BJJ, say, and they know every like move in the book, yeah, that's great. But if you face them against someone who doesn't know as much, but that person practices their basics every day, you know, the mount, the guards, the gripping with the legs, the strength, the belt pull-ups, the grip strength, you know, the making their basic positioning strong, the shrimping, the rolls, the flexibility, you know, they're going to be in so much better fighting condition, you know, even though they're not as skilled. But the skill exists in the body condition of the person and the defense capability, you know, and they might not have enough to win, but they might have enough to survive. And that's where we come around, and I'll stop talking soon. That's where we come around to like real life. And as real life is about, you know, well, we want to win, but surviving is is the most important thing of real life, you know, and that goes back to what we were saying before. Surviving is the most important thing, yeah? All right. Let's go to bed. I got work tomorrow. But anyway, guys, look, thanks a lot. Please do like and sub, share the channel. Thanks for all your support over the years. Thank you to the Patreon guys. Thank you to the guys who've checked out the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course. All the links are below. Yeah, just keep doing your training, whatever it is, and keep trying to fit it in to your life. And I tell you what, if you're in a position now where you're getting to go to your club or your MMA club or your jiu-jitsu club or whatever, your karate club, your kung fu club, if you're in a position where you're getting to do that, and you can put the hours in, then really embrace it, you know. It's great, because there may come a time when you can't do that and you don't have that luxury, but if that happens, don't give up either. Don't be one of those people, there's nothing wrong with it, but don't be one of those people who goes, oh, well, I'm not in a club anymore, I can't train. Because a martial artist, this is my closing statement, a true martial artist is made in their own time. Okay? So remember that one. Share it. Share it online, but remember where you got it. Various masters over the years, I'm not saying I'm a master, but various masters over the years have said that same thing in different ways. But that's how I'm saying it today. A true martial artist is made in their own time or on their own time. And you don't have to think very hard to know what that means. Yeah, you're not made in the dojo unless you live in the dojo. Yeah, you're made by the effort you put in, usually out of the dojo, with what you get and what you get taught. And that probably goes for most disciplines as well. All right. Okay, guys. So thanks a lot. I'll see if there's any comments before I go. Oh, no. That's all good. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for tuning into the stream. And sorry that I've been so scarce. I don't know when I'll next do another stream, but I am here. I am training. Don't give up and keep training. Keep training.